Yes, this kind of grease for doors. What am I going to use that for? White lithium grease? It's a multi-purpose grease? Well, watch my videos and you'll see. Well, what is our project today? I am going to show you how to fix squeaky hinges on your doors. We're going to use this stuff right here. Went down to the hardware store and I wasn't quite sure what kind of grease I was going to get, and I saw this. It's a multi-purpose white lithium grease. I thought, wow, that should do me. And I've just got a little piece of cardboard here and I've got it on top of a box, and I'm going to use that for my little station. And what I'm going to have to do is I've got to get up there and I've got to take these hinge pins off. Because this is a 4-hinge door, okay, this is an 8-foot tall door, so it's got 4 hinges. I could comfortably take the middle 2 hinges off first, put the grease on, put those back in, then take the top one out by itself, and then take the bottom one out by itself, or something like that. You know, I could even take the bottom one and the next 2 hinge pins off all at the same go. Now how am I gonna start this? Let's do the 2 middle hinge pins first. And before I start this, I've got this little stool here and I'm going to use that. But this particular door, I'm not even sure if it's squeaking or not, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to end up doing all of the doors in the house, because what happens is with hinges, a lot of times, if you look next to the side of where your hinge is, right where your door trim is, your casing, lots of times you'll see a lot of black stuff on there, and it's spray from your hinge pin. Every time you open and close the door, that's moving, and it's moving on the inside of your hinge knuckles, and the hinge pin gets dirty, and then it starts blowing dust out through the sides. And you'll even get it on this side here by the hinge. And I can't really show you much because we just had these doors painted. But before we had the doors painted, I cleaned off all the stuff that was on here. You should have seen it was all on the edges. And then it even, when the door was closed, it was even having to put some on the door panels, on the raised panels, especially over on this side. This would spray and there would be marks here, and some of the spray came up here on the top edge of this and along here. I mean, it's very subtle in some cases. Other places you'll see a lot of it. You check your doors and you'll see what I'm talking about. But now that these hinges are the doors are all nicely painted and everything, I don't want them to start spraying out anymore. Okay? Plus some of the doors are squeaking, and the grease is going to help it from squeaking, and it's also going to help it from preventing it from blowing that dust out, because we're going to put grease in there. Okay? And we're going to do it in such a way where it's going to be as clean as possible. Okay? And I'm going to do these 2 middle hinges first. And I've got some earplugs on. I actually put Kleenex or toilet paper in my ears. And I'm going to use a nail set and also some cutters. And that's going to help me get the hinge pins out. I take this from the bottom and I just use my hammer sideways. I don't like go that way because I don't gonna try to do it so I don't rub on the door. And I don't have to get it up any higher than that. Now see, this one I'm gonna have to use my hammer here. Just get it up a little bit. You don't have to go any higher. Now I'm gonna take my cutters and I'm gonna hold it and grab onto it so as not to touch the trim and pinch on it. And now I'm going to use my hammer to get this up. And plus it's going to hang on to the hinge pin for me. See? That hinge pin looks pretty clean, doesn't it? But that blows stuff out. Plus you got the inside of this, of the hinge, that just wears, and that blows out too. These hinges, believe it or not, are 17 years old. Okay, so I'll just set that hinge pin over there. What I could do is put another rag or something down on the floor. In fact, I think I do have a rag. The last thing you want to do is start taking your hinges out. Now granted, this is in a laundry room, so I've got a nice tile, woodish floor here. Okay, but you don't want to go on your carpet and then start laying your hinge pins down, because you'll notice that your hinge pins are, in some instances, going to be greasy, going to be dirty. Oh, I've already done that. And you don't want to put those on the carpet, okay? Simple so far, huh? Okay. Now, I'm going to take you over to my surgery room. Get you turned over here. Even handling hinge pins like this, after a while, your hands are going to get dirty. Okay. And so now we've got to put the grease on here. How are we going to do that? Well, have I done this before? I haven't really done it. I'm going to resituate the camera because I've got to move my ladder. I need the ladder because those doors are 8 foot tall. Okay, so now I can kind of get this over here like that. Okay. I'm just gonna put a little grease on here like that, and I'm gonna cake this on there. And see, that's why I've got my little platform here, is so that I can put it all the way up here, and I'm just rolling it on there like that. I don't want to get too much grease on there. That's probably, we'll just have to try one out. See, I think that's good right there. Now I can take my next one. Get some grease on there. Yummy. I don't have hardly anything on my hands so far. See? Okay, but I still have a rag. I want to be ready. So now I'm going to take those. I'm going to take those back over here and put the pins back in. I'm going to leave this back here. I think you can see from there. Okay. I'm just concerning myself with putting these 2 hinge pins back in. With the grease. I used to put these in with, or not take these out, just spray WD-40 in and around. Okay, now I could tap those in with just my hammer, but I have to be careful because this is going to rub on the door and stuff. So what I think the best thing to do is take your cutters again, and I'm going to put them upside down and grab it right there hard. Now I can hit on the actual cutters, not the tip, until I get it down almost all the way. Okay. The same thing up here. That way I don't get too close to the door or the trim with my hammer. Now at that point, now I'm going to have to use the hammer. Just tap, tap, tap. Before I do that, I can see I got some excess grease up there. And on this one, got a little bit there. I think I'll have to wipe that off. I don't have to get all of it off. So I'm going to put that back up my little platform over here, wipe that off. Try to keep my hands as clean as I can because I've got a lot of doors in this house to do. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. Now at that point, I can take a rag or my finger and gently wipe that off. This one looks good. I'll have to remember where I put that, because when I set this back down on the floor, I don't want the grease, the new grease, to get on the floor or get all over the place. I could use some paper towels too and wipe that. And I think that's what I'll probably do, is get some paper towels for the next door. That way I don't mess up my my rag. Okay, so now that I've got those two, I'm going to just do the bottom one next. And I'll do the top one last.